Etymology and historical origin of the baby name Rosalie. Rosalie is the French and German form of Rosalia, which is derivative of rosa, from Latin meaning rose. Rosalia was popularized in honor of a 12th century Sicilian saint, a young noblewoman of Norman descent during a period of Italy's history when the Normans conquered much of southern Italy and Sicily, 11th to 12th centuries. In fact, St. Rosalia is the patron saint of Palermo, Sicily. And here's why. Staunchly religious, Rosalia abandoned the accoutrements of her highborn life and retired to a cave on Mt. Pellegrino to live out her life as a hermit. She would die there alone around the age of 30. There on the cave wall she had etched the words, "I, Rosalia, have taken the resolution to live in this cave for the love of my Lord, Jesus Christ." About 450 years after her death, a terrible plague swept through Palermo and St. Rosalia appeared before a hunter and told him where to find her relics in the cave. She instructed him to bring her remains back to Palermo, where a procession was orchestrated in her honor. Apparently, after that, the plague abated. That's why Palermo owes many thanks to La Santuzza, Little Saint, as Rosalia is often called. The Germans and French adopted this pious and saintly name after the Middle Ages as Rosalie, but the English wouldn't embrace it until the 19th century. Today Rosalie is most popular in the Netherlands. Personality of the girl named Rosalie. The number 7 personality is deeply mystical and highly in tune with their spirituality. They operate on a different wavelength than the average Joe. Spending time alone comes easily to 7s, as it gives them time to contemplate philosophical, religious, and spiritual ideas in an effort to find real truth. 7s are wise, but often exude mystery as if they are tapped into something the rest of us don't understand. They love the outdoors and are fed by nature. 7s are constantly seeking to understand human nature, our place in the universe, and the mystery of life in general. This makes them quite artistic and poetic, but they are also keen observers with high intellect, so they are equally scientific-minded. 7s are charitable and care deeply about the human condition. Popularity of the girl named Rosalie. Rosalie's usage dates back to 19th century America. The name entered the 20th century with some pretty high marks on the charts. She grew slowly in popularity as the decades progressed and then saw a quick and sudden jump in 1938, the year following the release of a popular film called Rosalie based on a 1928 musical about a Vassar-attending European princess in disguise who falls mutually in love with a West Point cadet. American audiences were apparently reminded of this charming name, and she spent her only year ever on the top 100 in 1938, at position number 66. Starting in the 1940s, Rosalie began to lose her luster as she reversed her course on the charts. Finally in 1989 she disappeared from the charts, presumably out of circulation forever. Fortunately, her hiatus would be relatively brief, about 20 years, cut short by her revival in 2009. A long time ago, Rosalie was a name selected mostly by Catholics in reference to the saint. Today she's regaining her attraction due to her old-fashioned antique charm. Rosalie is classically female, flowery, refined, girlish and lovely. In a modern-day pop culture reference, Rosalie Hale is a prominent character in Stephenie Meyer's Twilight novel series, played by Nikki Reed. Love her or hate her, she is described as the most beautiful woman on earth, with an ego to match. Roz, Rose and Rosie are obvious nicknames. Quick facts on Rosalie. Gender, girl. Origin, English. Number of syllables, 3. Ranking popularity, 348. Pronunciation, Rosalie, Rosalie. Simple meaning, rose. Characteristics of Rosalie. Mystical, intuitive, philosophical, imaginative, eccentric, wise, solitary. Cultural references to the baby name, Rosalie. Literary characters of the baby name Rosalie. Rosalie is the title character in George and Ira Gershwin's, along with Sigmund Romberg and P.G. Wodehouse, 1928 Broadway musical, Rosalie, later adapted to a 1937 film with songs by Cole Porter. Rosalie is a princess of the country, Romanza, who has fallen in love with a young West Point flyer who does not realize she is royalty. But, of course, for some reason, finding this out makes him extremely angry, and he returns to the good old U.S. of A. Rosalie accompanies her father and mother, yes, the king and queen, more royalty, to America where the king is applying for a loan. Young Rosalie goes to a West Point dance, but disguised as a cadet, clever Shakespearean girl that she is. Somehow, this does not annoy the young West Pointer. Anyway, their solution to the problem is to go back to good old Romanza and start a revolution, so that Princess Rosalie will be tossed out of court. But, of course, for some reason, this works, and Rosalie and her young man are exiled to Paris. How sad, to have to leave Romanza for Paris. And the king happily announces their engagement. But of course, lose a country, gain a son-in-law, albeit one prejudiced against kings, etc. By the way, the West Pointer's name is Dick, and that is just not enough for someone with the beautiful name of Rosalie, princess or not. However, one really good thing came out of all this muddle, the Gershwin's song, How Long Has This Been Going On? Coming soon. Popular songs on Rosalie. Rosalie Come and Go, My Sweet Rosalie, Rosalie/The Cowgirls Song, a 1928 musical by the Gershwin Brothers, a song by Ryan Adams, Rosalie, a song by Brotherhood of Man, a song by Thin Lizzy. Famous people named Rosalie. Rosalie Anderson, Andie MacDowell, actress.